All right, we're gonna play rapid games, explain the moves as we go along. Maybe game or two, we'll see. But you get the idea. Whether it's game or two, it's basically we explain move by move from a master. So if people doesn't know, I am a master, so it should be good to explain how the masters think, like what kind of moves I'm looking at, what kind of plans, ideas, what I'm looking at from my opponent's side, like what moves he's gonna do. So it should be helpful. Learning experience for a lot of you. All right, we found a game. Yeah, this guy's good. We could play. Let's play English. C4. Let's play English. This is probably the most competitive one. When you play E5, you're looking for a game. Dutch. All right, so maybe G3. We could play Bishop G2 ideas. So maybe Bishop G2, D3. So does he play like Bishop B4? That's also playable. You could play Bishop D2. Could we do this? Knight D5. The idea if he takes maybe Bishop takes, so he doesn't castle. Maybe he's just simply he has to deal with knight takes, so maybe takes and castle. So this is check first, then here. You don't want to take here. You might take here, but bishop is annoying because he may not castle. I mean, it's going to be... So this is probably the most precise. He castles this way. That seems to be the right way. So maybe I just need to move my knight. And I'm trying to find out the best way to do it. Maybe e3, knight e2. Knight f3. He may take... Maybe just e3 though. His idea then it goes to here, stopping all these ideas was f4 potentially connecting the bishop activity. So bishop e6. So this one is fine, knight e2. I don't think it's going to take this way. This is a free piece. If knight e2, he takes this way here, but we do have more control toward the center, even though it's double pawn. Yeah, let's play knight e2. He's likely to play like a variety of moves, like a queen move maybe, queen d7 or something, likely. I might be looking at castle. The English opening is really good, though. English opening is one of those openings that you could play, and it's always c4, always in English. The beauty about the English, you could transpose to Catalan, which is an opening that I like. Top tier opening. So the English is up there. Sometimes you would, like, if there's a competitive games, like we have seen at the World Championship cycles in the past, where someone is looking for a win or try to like play different openings, and usually the English pops in, right? So it's one of those openings that you could depend on, play it. So it's a really good opening. Like there's some theory, but we talked about it in one of the previous videos. There's potential replies. But this line seems to be good. Like e5 is really the most competitive. c5 is more symmetrical. So he played rook b8. I don't know if this is needed. Maybe he's looking for this. d3. I could just simply castle. Rook b8 is kind of not really needed. He plays knight e7. Oh, I see what he's doing. So he wanted to play knight e7. Like, if you were to play knight e7 here, I could take and then the pawn is hanging. So he was like, okay, so if I were to this one, the pawn is hanging, rook b8, bishop g2, and then, white is just simply up a pawn. So he was preparing it. So he plays here with the idea that he wants to go to knight e7. It's a reasonable idea. Then maybe he wants to play c6. I was looking at knight c3, but maybe c6 is coming. I could still play knight c3. The knight is probably better suited on c3 than e2. I mean, the knight sitting on e2 is not really active at all. I'm assuming he might play c6. I could take queen takes d4, but this is bishop takes. So maybe this is annoying. A little bit of annoying here. Maybe I could still play b3 and d4. So maybe knight c3. Knight c3 anyway. He's gonna play c6. I mean, that's the way it is. Yeah, so c6 I am committed to take. So I want to be careful when I play d4. Because this is how you look at things. Because d4 drops a pawn in between. And also, not only drops a pawn, it's attacks rook on f1. So you want to prepare it. Meaning, I don't know why he's taking time on this move. So you want to play like b3. So when you play d4, it's protected on c4. So that's how you think about the moves. d4 would have been a good idea if this is protected, but we play here. This may allow d5, but we might just take on d4. So this is very balanced game so far. d5 has to be the... So you play toward the center. He did not play it, so I played d4. You always want to play toward the center. And that's one move comes to mind. So d4 now is playable because we protect c4 because of pawn to b3, right? So always want to be careful when you make a plan. So when you make up a plan, you want to double check it like tactically, right? Like if it tactically works. So he plays here. He's trying to shut down the bishop, which is a good idea. Shutting down the bishop and also competing on the center. I mean, he might be doing this next, and he may have a serious control toward the center. I wonder if I have to play d5. I mean, maybe this is my only way. I'm assuming he's gonna take a couple times. I cannot afford him doing d5. If it's black to move, he might do just d5. The point of d5 is actually like maybe white is like doesn't have enough piece maneuvering or anything to get active. So maybe this. The only way to play though. He's likely to take though. The real question is which way should I take? Whether the pawn or the knight. I don't think he's going to play bishop d7 because this feels a pretty passive here. I mean, I may get active with the rook. d6 might become like a pawn that I could grab or I could attack it. He played here. I'm not sure if I'm a fan though. I felt like he had to take. He probably didn't like the fact that I would take back and he goes here, but this is okay for black, assuming that he gets some activity. This way, open up the door for this one. Rook d8. Maybe he was looking at bishop h5. If I go here, bishop h5. I mean, how annoying this move. Can I just play knight e2 or something? Or I could take first. I probably have to take because if rook d1, he may just take back again. So my opportunity is to take on here. He's gonna take here. So this move could be annoying because this, if I play here, it kind of I may have to do this fast enough. Rook here. The real question is which rook? It's probably rook here. Keeping this defending f2. So I'm actually attacking this one first, so he cannot play this. It's like queen takes first. You cannot take here. The queen is hanging. So if bishop h5 here takes, that's a free pawn. And the rook moved away from d1, so he's not really attacking it. So this is actually the move. Makes a lot of sense. He's defending d6. So maybe I have to play some maneuvering here. Like, I wonder if I have to play like queen b2, rook d2, go for this pawn, potentially knight e2, knight f4, knight e2, knight d4. Maybe this move. The real question is queen e5. May have to do it though. Maybe this move is annoying. Because now the knight may not move. If you cannot go to knight e2 if he plays queen e5, right? Because the queen is hanging. Not cool. Not cool, sir. Not cool. Maybe here I play knight e4. If he takes knight here, this may be okay, but not much going on. Maybe he still play d5. I mean, if anything, maybe white is have like a little bit of pawn structure here that seems to be intact, nicely played, nicely looking. You know, maybe for some kind of an ending later, deep on the ending could be good. But d6 is something that I'm trying to attack. So maybe like he played here, and that's true. Rook d2 probably, keeping this semi file open. So he wants to play knight e5. Yeah, this is kind of annoying. Knight e5, knight f3. Yeah, this is probably not cool. If I play here, knight f4. This is not... Yeah, knight e5. Yeah, this is pretty bad though. Knight e5. I mean, he could even do this. He could even do this, and not cool. He played this move instead. This one is interesting, and he's looking at g5, all the kind of stuff here. Yeah, this is not really good. Do I have to play this? I mean, stopping g5, so the knight would stay on f4. If he takes his king takes... Let's play this. I think knight f3 was probably more precise. So having the bishop here, like for example here, you know, if I play here, it's knight takes d2. I'm just done in exchange. I don't think there's a way I could probably go queen takes and then he just moved the bishop away from, you know, because the knight was attacking the bishop. So the point is, I have to take bishop takes. This seems to be like good diagonal. The king, so the Vienna shadow bishop is like being traded off this way. So it's like a move order that really seems to matter. Because now if he does here, even though the knight is coming to f3, as much as it looks like it's very active, which is good, but it's not the same activity that having the other way around. We're gonna take a look at it after the game. Because if he takes now, his knight king takes, knight f3, maybe we just move the rook away. He doesn't have like a direct attack going on yet. At least as of yet. And also the knight is good on f4, just like his knight will be on f3, perhaps. So h4 is needed, so you can. It does expose the king a little bit, of course, but it's needed so you doesn't play g5. Because if he play the g5, I might take king g8. I don't know why he's doing this. It's not needed. I see. So this is still issues here. Looks like white is not having a good plan here. It's no good plans here. Not sure what this move does. Maybe c5, but not sure what c5 is doing. Maybe the rook... I've just moved the rook here so I could, you know, maybe create something like b4, b5. I may need this rook to defend this one. So if you go with b4, his knight takes. That's one of the things here. So maybe b4, b5. So if I were to do b5 and he takes, maybe that weaken up d5 squares. So maybe like d6 becomes like a pawn I could go after. So maybe b4, b5 kind of plan. So let's say if it's white to move b4, he plays like a back here, for example, just to show you what I mean, b5, c5. So you can see that becomes a weak square that I could use. And also d6 becomes a little bit of like a more problematic to defend. So this may be an idea. So the rook is defending this way. So for now, he could still take though. I mean, now he might be going for this. Maybe he's correcting the mistake. I may have to go for this one before. There's no time likely here now. There's always this kind of ideas. So he played rook b8. So queen c3, just get out of the potential pin here. Maybe still a4, b5. He slowed me down a little bit here. So maybe e4 with ideas b5. This is going to be like a blitz game. It is a blitz now. So we have to move fast. And the idea is here. Maybe a6. It's kind of interesting that a6. There's also c5. So d5. Things are getting really interesting. So there's maybe here even. It just feels like d5 is not the right reply after c5, because the knight is kind of a loose. There's also b5. I'm not sure if this is really... Maybe it's shifting. Maybe white is already finding ways. He plays here, he's looking for this one. That's for sure. So, what to do against this move? If I play h5, this may stop it. The pawn is really loose here. May have to play h5. The idea of h5 is once you play g5, I just take en passant here. En passant, and that's kind of stopping potential g5 ideas for now. Yeah, he's looking to take it. Is it that easy to take, sir? That's not easy. z5, because if he takes here, we take here. d5 again, not clear. b5 takes. This pawn is hanging. b5. Is it c6? c7? Potential. I mean, this is already a pass pawn. That's actually what I meant by like white has like a good pawns here. Maybe c6. I'm threatening c7. So I'm sacking a pawn for a major activity. So he doesn't have time for knight c4, I don't think. So he's trying to attack it. We could take with a pawn. This should be good for me now, because now everything e6. Maybe I missed e6. This is rook takes. Maybe this is still not really key. And this not really this might be a key move, rook takes, yeah. So this is takeable. And then I'm up a pawn. And this is still c6. c6 pawn is still pass pawn. It's funny that he never get to play knight f3 though. I kind of slow him down. Yeah, this might be tough though. I mean, how to deal with this move. Especially when you have 1 minute left. Yeah, this is tough. Maybe a6 still works. I don't know. There's always like here and here, so it may not work. He plays king g7, king h7. So if we takes, it should be good for me. I may as well pre-move it, gain some time on the clock. So he plays here, attacking the rook. Attack the pawn, which is really good. Take the pawn, there's mate, knight f6. He's defending it. Nice. G4, he cannot take here, this mate. So the rook is really active. Can still take, cannot do this. Oh, now he could take. Wow, I forgot that he could take, but maybe f6. You could take. I mean, this is bullet game now. So maybe rook takes. This is still not as easy. This is what happens when you play bullet. There are some, you know, a little bit of a mess. This is still playable though, supposedly. So queen here, attack the bishop. I want to take this with check if I can. There's also rook e7. Rook e7, attack. So if he takes, maybe rook takes, because if he takes here, his bishop takes. Rook g4, this should be winning, because now I'm attack the queen and attack d5. If you take here, it's queen takes, so it's bishop takes and bishop e4. Everything is defended. Yeah, good game though. Very good game. I just want to check one thing with the computer. There's a lot to check here. Yeah, supposedly here, I might be back. Yeah, I'm actually winning this, like, even though I was doing a piece. As a matter of fact, look at this. Like, even this kind of stuff is still... So here I had rook e7. Yeah, this is rook e7. So rook e7 is just simply winning here. So he doesn't have anything. The queen cannot go here. It's queen takes c5, which is the same trouble. If he were to take here, this is simply take. Everything is like very strong, right? I mean, two pass pawns, many pawns, everything is falling. Even after this, it's funny that here I'm still winning. Like the activity here is huge, even after bishop takes. F6 still, maybe I have like queen c5. But my move is still within the attacking range. So here and then queen d4. So computer likes this move by me because obviously I'm still attacking the bishop. And then this is all very good. Yeah, this is simply... Oh, here I made a mistake. So here all I have to do is like take here. I forgot about this one. Because this simply wins because should you do this is bishop takes e4. Yeah, again, this is I'm playing fast. I'm not really playing the best moves when when you play fast, bullet chess. But, you do have to see this kind of tactics. If I had, a little bit more time or I was concentrating a little bit more, I would probably see this. I think it's before. Looking at before, this seems to be the key situation here. We're talking about how knight f3, like specifically here. Bishop f3 was probably playable here. Knight g4, knight e2, knight e5, knight f4. Yeah, so I was talking about which move makes sense, whether here or here. I felt like here, like it does make sense in a way. So this is actually like probably annoying. So what you do here from black, you may just like try to get g5 in. You just have to get out of the way. But this is maybe still like the computer is giving this maybe like some kind of a hold. You could still hold this, which is difficult somehow. So when I played here, you had to play a rook f8. And then rook c1 still. I mean, white is still playing. Like it's not like lost. But black has ideas. So supposedly bishop g4 was a good move. And it's hard to say why. Queen c3 and then h6. Oh, because maybe g5 is coming. So let's say here is potential g5. No, there's no g5 now. There's always here. So you cannot play here. Supposedly knight g6, right? And obviously that's a check. You lose your queen because you cannot take back. They have to be careful with this move. And that's the reason why he played king g8. So maybe computer is giving me king g8 with ideas like maybe try to get this going. G6, c5. It's still giving this like it's playable game. It's not like white is lost. And you want to be careful when you play d5, right? This is only one way. You could see the computer's giving b5. Yeah, so once white gets this momentum on the other side of the board with the pawns, he gets better. So I guess the mistake is actually around here, and then it wants me to play b5 anyway. So here, a4, a6, h5, queen e8. Now he plays a little bit passive, even though he was like attacking. Supposedly b5 was the only move that makes sense. b5, the idea if he were to play here, you take control over the squares. It looks like this one is a mistake because he could actually take. So now taking here, it does change the pawn formation for me. Right? If you look over, like this formation is good, like 3 and this kind of like 3 versus 3 here. Because you always have like b5. So the argument here is a stake. The formation does change. I mean, if you have to play like this is actually a problem. You could see that black is getting active. And these pawns are now like pretty minor. Like there's no advantage for white with the pawns as opposed to like a couple moves ago. Right? So this is actually worth the formation with the pawn, like you have to play b5. So the point is with b5, if you were to go for this, right? I'm just giving you the computer like doesn't like this because once you go here, this is like 2 for 1. This pawn is weak on d6. If we trade a lot of pieces, white benefit from this, right? So even here, it looks like white is really doing great. So this is funny. Like we talked about this in one of the previous videos about the pawns, right? We talk about we talk about like one idea or two ideas, weak pawns. And I was talking about double pawns. Pawns in chess is really key. So strong players would know, and I knew this. Like these pawns, or once I had these pawns here, from here, I knew these pawns are pretty good. But you have to properly, make use of that. So some people doesn't know what that means, like why these pawns are good. They're good because you could expand your play. You could see that slowly creating some trouble. So let's say he plays here, that weaken up the square on d5. You benefit from this positionally, and it makes your position much more stronger. And also these 2 for 1, should you trade everything, you could create a pass pawn and means you could win. If we trade everything, looks like maybe white is benefit from that. D6 is also very weak. So, it's potential that D6 could be, you could maneuver the pieces, like let's say rook d5, rook c2, rook d2, and then you might find a way to continue attacking this way. H5 is also acting as a very good way. I mean, he's not taking here. So that also allows him to fix a pawn, allows white to fix a pawn here. So this means like the king might be stuck in some lines later on. This is still playable, by the way. It's not like white is winning or anything, but it does give white a little bit of better game. So I mean, the computer wants this right now. And this is still like a playable game. Supposedly, this is a computer line. And look at this. This is how you play. I mean, this is like this is what I call like a positional sacrifice, not a tactical sacrifice. What does positional sacrifice means? So you do take this way. You're looking at maybe how many pawns are you taking? You're taking like 1 pawn, but he already took a pawn here. I mean, so this is not about like pawns. This is really dynamic kind of position. So meaning that white is looking for like a domination with this pawns. Like if you were to take this way, just to give you one idea, let's say black plays passively for one move. This one move, like queen g5 or something. Queen takes c5. And now you can see these pawns are very strong for the exchange. I mean, it's giving me a draw, but black has to be very careful. Because these pawns all I have to do is like move my queen away and then start pushing the pass pawn, right? You do have to be careful when you're pushing it, but this is how, this is how these pawns are pretty dangerous here. They act as a way for like a compensation. So the black has to do a little bit of defense, like here, and then you take. So supposedly you do have to sack this pawn. I mean, you cannot really. You might, if you go for this one, is always like bishop takes c4, because that's actually the issue. There's bishop takes c4 or c5. Pick one. So that's the reason why you go back defending bishop takes c4. By the way, bishop takes c4, because I might be going fast. So if he plays here, bishop takes e4, you cannot do this. The queen is hanging. So, but you took a pawn, and also your bishop now gets to the game. So the bishop now very active. You're looking at queen takes, bishop d5, the e5, b6. You could create a pass pawn. You could see that white now is winning. Has a strong advantage of winning after if bishop takes e4 were to happen. Even though he's up in exchange, black is up in exchange, right? So it's a very good position, good explanation. I believe like this is really helpful game to learn how like both players, like me and my opponent, play. How I won the game is come down to small details. So winning or losing, again, I keep saying this over and over again. I could win or lose games, but this is really educational. I won because my bullet skill is probably better, right? My opponent maybe rating is probably not up there when it comes to bullet. But again, 10-0 is really still a fast format for me. It's still because that when you play somebody who is close to my level, it turns out to be like the game is close, so it's like it's gonna be like 1 minute, 2 minutes at the very end, right? The game is not really settled, and it would take time to win a game, and then it becomes like a bullet or blitz. So sometimes it gets tricky because you might play like an opponent that happens to be the same level as you are in bullet skills, so it becomes like a toss-up kind of game, right? Win or lose. But we were doing a good explanation. I'm just going back here to see if I was doing the right plans, and so far I am. Like, this is following up with the lines. Computer kind of approved what I was doing. The only disagreement here is knight takes f6. And I think I understand why. This is supposedly best move instead of here. So you don't allow c6. The only move here, the reason for this is because the bishop gets active. So even after c6, I guess he played maybe f4. You created new dynamic after c6. Like look at this e4. You expand on the other side of the board. This is really like annoying kind of stuff when it comes to the English. Like this is really strong positional ideas. Like the bishop really is eyeing, even though you play c6, this diagonal is pretty strong. I mean, I would say this bishop g2 is better than bishop on e6. And you can see bishop here. It's like one move b4. All you have to do is expand on the other side of the board, and white gets better. My move is not the top notch. I mean, I don't play the English, a lot, right? But supposedly this is not as best. Because here you just simply, even after you take here, it's not the same ideas. It's close, but you could always, predict that d5 is happening. This is where black could get really, equalize, no problems. So the concern if you play toward the center, white, may not have too much plans here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. It's a good English opening line, competitive between me and my opponent, explanation so you guys could learn, and stay tuned for more games. We'll see you by the next video, folks.